The arrival of strangers. The night sky above Earth was clear, filled with thousands of stars. For most people, it was just another evening. But for the astronomers in the deep space stations, it was not ordinary at all. Something massive had entered. The solar system. On every screen, glowing shapes appeared, hundreds of alien ships sliding out of dark space, their hulls shining like silver mirrors. They formed perfect lines, moving with calm confidence, as if they owned the stars. The alien fleet had come to Earth. In orbit. The lead ship of the alien armada broadcast a message across all human channels. Its voice was cold, echoing with power. Humans. Of Earth, we are the Kareth Dominion, first of the stars. You should feel honored. Today marks your first contact with the galaxy. You are no longer alone. The words were meant to inspire fear and awe. To the aliens, this was history in the making. They believed themselves the first to discover Earth, the first to reach this primitive world. For them, it was a moment of triumph. But on Earth, the reaction was not what they expected. In the United Nations chamber, leaders gathered in silence, listening to the broadcast. Some were nervous, others cautious, but none trembled. Humanity had seen war, hunger, disaster, and loss. Fear was not new to them. President Elena Ward leaned forward, her face calm. They think this is the first time anyone has come here, she said quietly. But the stars, they say otherwise. Her words puzzled the council, but not the scientists. Astronomers had noticed strange patterns weeks earlier, constellations shifting ever so slightly, like symbols rearranging themselves. Old myths from Earth's past spoke of the stars whispering, remembering. And now, with aliens claiming they were the first to find Earth, those whispers grew louder. The Kareth continued their speech. You are young, weak, but you may serve. Under our dominion. In time, perhaps you will rise above savagery. Be grateful we found you first. Laughter erupted across alien comms, thousands of voices mocking. They showed off their ships, their weapons, their shimmering shields. Their fleet moved like a living wall, blotting out the stars. But on the surface of Earth, something unusual happened. People did not panic. They did not fall to their knees. They only watched quietly, almost unimpressed. On the deck of the Dauntless, Earth's primary defense vessel, Captain Aaron Cross stood with his crew, eyes fixed on the alien fleet. He was calm, steady, as though staring at a storm rolling across. The sea. His second officer frowned. Captain, they believe this is our first contact. Aaron's lips curved slightly. Let them believe. The officer hesitated. Should we respond? Should we show fear, respect? Aaron shook his head. No, we wait. The stars will answer for us. Above Earth, the alien fleet sent down beams of light, projecting images across the sky. Vast holograms showed their history, empires rising, worlds burning, banners of power unfurled. They wanted humans to feel small, to see how fragile they were in comparison. But the spectacle did not impress. Children in the streets pointed at the lights like a fireworks show. Soldiers on the ground crossed their arms, unimpressed. Farmers went back to their work, muttering about rain. And in the night sky, something began to stir. At first, it was subtle. A star flickered where it should not. Another dimmed, then brightened, shifting slightly in position. Constellations. Bent, realigned, as if unseen hands were moving them. Patterns that had stood for thousands of years changed in a single night. On every continent, people looked up and gasped. The stars were not random anymore. They were forming shapes, symbols. Writings. The astronomers cried out in disbelief. This isn't natural. The constellations are speaking. And what they spelled was simple. One word. One truth. Earth. The alien fleet faltered. Their holograms dimmed. Their laughter died. For the first time, the Careth felt unease. How is this possible? One alien commander whispered. The stars, they know this world? Across their fleet, confusion spread. If they were truly the first to find Earth, then why did the stars call out its name? On the Dauntless, Captain Aaron stood with his arms folded, watching the shifting sky. His crew stared in awe, but his face remained calm. The stars remember. He said softly, They always did. We only forgot. His officer turned to him, shocked. Captain, are you saying? Aaron's gaze hardened. I'm saying we were never truly alone. And this is not the first time humanity has been seen. Above them, the constellations blazed brighter, forming ancient images shapes of ships long lost, figures walking among the stars, echoes of a past no one remembered. The aliens came to claim they were first. But the universe itself had already spoken dot, and in that moment, one truth shook every corner of the galaxy. Humanity was not new. Humanity was not small. Humanity had been here before. Asterisk the mockery of humanity, the Careth. Dominion had not expected silence. Their fleet hung over Earth like a crown of steel and light, hundreds of ships glittering like daggers against the night. They had declared themselves the first to make contact, rulers of the stars, and masters of 1,000 worlds. Normally, when their banners unfurled, lesser species trembled, but Earth did not tremble, and that unsettled them. The alien envoy appeared on every human broadcast, its form tall and elegant, skin gleaming like polished glass. Its voice dripped with superiority as it addressed the world below. Humans, it began, you are fortunate. The Dominion has found you before others could. You are backward, yes. Primitive, yes. But under our guidance, perhaps you will be something more than dust. Bow, and you may serve. On alien channels, laughter rang out. Thousands of voices mocked Earth. They are so small, so young, they should thank us for seeing them. But humanity did not bow dot in the United Nations chamber. The alien envoy's image shimmered above the council floor. Leaders from every nation sat quietly, their faces unreadable. The envoy expected begging. It expected worship dot instead. President Alana Ward leaned forward, her voice calm. You claim to be the first to find us. But tell me, why do the stars speak our name? The envoy's glowing eyes flickered. For a moment, its confidence cracked. Then it laughed, sharp and bitter. Stars do not speak. Your kind sees patterns where none exist. You mistake coincidence for destiny. But even as it spoke, the windows above the chamber glowed with shifting constellations. Ancient shapes, bent and curved, spelling Earth again and again. The room filled with a low murmur, human voices whispering the same thought. This was no accident dot in orbit. The alien fleet unleashed another display. Weapons charged, glowing with wild energy. Massive beams stretched across the sky, carving symbols of their empire into the darkness. Look, the envoy declared, this is power. This is the light of the Dominion. You should kneel in awe. The humans did not kneel. Children pointed at the beams as if watching fireworks. Farmers shook their heads, unimpressed. Soldiers on Earth's defense stations muttered that the aliens wasted too much energy just to make pretty lights. On the Dauntless, Captain Aaron Cross stood with his crew, arms folded. His second officer smirked. They're trying hard to impress us. Aaron's eyes stayed locked on the stars. Yes, and failing. The alien envoy grew angry. Its voice rose, harsh and commanding. You dare mock us? You should fear us. We found you. We decide your future. Without us, you are nothing but children lost in the dark. Torres, the engineer aboard the Dauntless, chuckled under his breath. Funny, the stars don't seem to agree with him. And as if on cue, the constellations shifted again. Asterisk this time. It wasn't just the word Earth. It was an image. A human hand carved in stars reaching across the sky. A symbol that every culture on Earth recognized instantly because it had been drawn in caves, carved in stone, and painted on walls thousands of years ago. The alien envoy fell silent. Its perfect composure cracked. No, this cannot be. On alien channels, voices of fear began to rise. Some demanded explanations. Others whispered ancient warnings that humans were not new, but forgotten. One alien commander hissed, "If the stars remember them." Then the Dominion's claim is a lie. Panic rippled through their ranks. They had mocked Earth, but the universe itself was mocking them back. Back in the council chamber, President Ward stood tall, her gaze fixed on the envoy. "You came to claim first contact. But the truth is simple. You are late." The envoy snarled, its voice sharp with anger. "Lies, fabrications. You twist illusions to your favor." But as it spoke, the stars above blazed brighter, their light pouring into the room, silencing all doubt. The council chamber trembled. The people of Earth watched in awe. And across the galaxy, hidden observers gasped as the constellation spelled one final word. Return. On the Dauntless, the crew exchanged glances. Sarah whispered, "Captain, it feels like the sky itself is calling us back." Aaron's voice was low, steady. "That's because it is. The stars have not forgotten us. The aliens want to mock us, but the universe is already answering in our place." The crew fell silent, staring out at the shifting constellations. The aliens had come to belittle humanity, to laugh at them, to force them into submission. But the stars themselves had chosen to laugh at the aliens instead. And in that moment, one truth began to spread through every corner of the galaxy. Humanity was not what the Dominion believed. They were not new. They were remembered. Asterisk. The stars speak the skies above Earth, burned brighter than they ever had done at first, people thought. It was only constellations shifting. But soon it became undeniable. The stars were not moving at random. They were forming shapes, words, memories dot in every city. On every street, people stopped and looked up. Soldiers in bunkers put down their weapons. Farmers in their fields froze. Mid-step, astronomers wept openly, unable to believe what they were seeing. The universe itself was speaking. On the deck of the Dauntless, Captain Aaron Cross stood tall as the heavens unfolded above him. His crew whispered in disbelief. "Captain, it's like the stars are alive," Sarah breathed. Aaron's eyes narrowed. "Not alive. Remembering." In orbit, the Kareth Dominion fleet began to falter. Their perfect formations broke, there. Ships drifting like nervous animals. The alien commanders barked orders, but their voices shook. "This is impossible." One shouted, "The stars do not move like this. They obey no one." Yet the stars kept shifting dot first. They spelled Earth. Then slowly, the sky began to paint pictures. A great ship appeared, traced in starlight. Not alien, but human. Its shape was different from the vessels of today, sleeker, older, a design forgotten by history. Behind it, a trail of smaller ships followed, thousands of points of light glowing in unison. Across the world, people gasped. It was a fleet. A human fleet. Torres, the engineer, whispered, "That's not possible. We never had ships like that, did we?" Aaron's jaw tightened. "Not in our time. But maybe in another." The Kareth envoy returned on every channel, its once smooth voice now cracked with fury. "Do not believe this. These are tricks, illusions crafted by humans to deceive you." But no one believed it. Not when the stars moved across the entire sky, far beyond any human's reach. Not when even the Dominion's own sensors screamed the same truth. The stars were not lying. Then came the voice that it was not sound as humans knew it. It was deeper, vaster, something carried through the very fabric of the cosmos. It was heard in the minds of every living thing that looked up. We remember you. The words echoed across Earth, across the alien fleet, across hidden observers. Who had gathered in secret? You walked here before. You carved paths where none existed. You left, but we did not forget. On Earth, ancient myths came alive. In Africa, elders whispered of sky ancestors who once walked among them. In Asia, monks spoke of star beings with human hands. In South America, forgotten carvings matched the starlight symbols exactly. The stories were never fantasy. They were fragments of memory dot, and now the stars themselves confirmed it. The Dominion's fleet panicked. Some ships tried to retreat, their captains afraid of the voice that shook their souls. Others demanded to fire on Earth, desperate to erase the truth before it spread. But the stars did not stop. New patterns formed. This time, they showed battles humans standing against alien empires long before the Kareth even existed. Planets freed, chains broken, and always, at the center of it, human ships blazing across the stars. The voice thundered again. You are not new. You are not small. You are the forgotten. On the Dauntless, the crew fell silent. Sarah clutched the edge of her console, her voice trembling. All this time, we thought we were the last to arrive, but we were the first. Torres shook his head, trying to laugh, but failing. No wonder the stars don't impress us. We've already seen them. Aaron's face was stone, but inside he felt the weight of the revelation. Humanity had not just been born into the galaxy. Humanity had returned. The alien envoy screamed in denial, its calm mask torn away. No, this is lies. We are the first. The Dominion is eternal. Humanity is nothing. But as it shouted, the stars dimmed into silence, and then flared with one final image. Not ships, not battles, but a single human hand stretched outward, larger than worlds, carved in light. And then a final whisper. Welcome back. The Dominion fleet fell into chaos. Commander screamed. Ships collided in panic. Some fled into the dark. Others turned their weapons on each other, desperate to silence the truth. And all across the galaxy, observers hiding in shadow sent out the same message. The stars have spoken. Humanity has returned. On the Dauntless, Captain Aaron turned from the window, his voice steady. Now the galaxy knows, he said, and that knowledge will terrify them more than any weapon ever could. His crew watched him in silence, the stars still blazing behind him. The aliens had claimed first contact, but the universe itself had already answered. Asterisk, forgotten history, the Dominion's fleet drifted in chaos, their proud formations broken. They had come to declare themselves the first to find Earth, but the stars themselves had spoken against them. On every alien channel, voices fought in panic. They can't be the old ones, impossible. The stars are lying. No, the constellations never lie. Even the Kareth envoy, who once stood with flawless pride, now looked shaken. Its glowing form appeared again on human broadcasts, voice sharp with desperation. Humans, explain this. What trick are you playing? What is this false history the stars show? In the United Nations chamber, silence filled the air. Leaders turned toward President Elena Ward. Her hands rested calmly on the table, but her eyes burned. She rose slowly, facing the envoy's projection. You claim we are nothing, that you discovered us. But long before your dominion existed, before your banners, our kind walked among the stars. The envoy hissed, lies. You are primitives. Your ships are fragile. Your technology weak. You could not have touched the stars before us. President Ward did not argue. Instead, She nodded toward the scientists waiting at her side. Dr. Amir, head of Earth's Historical Research Council, stepped forward. He tapped a console, and the chamber filled with images. First came photographs. Strange ruins on the dark side of the moon. Structures too precise to be natural. Then came scans from Mars' underground caverns, marked with carvings of ships. Human-shaped figures wearing star gash crowns. Then, the final piece. A fragment of metal recovered from deep within Antarctica. Its design did not match any known human craft, but inside it, etched into the surface, were words written in an ancient human script. Words no one alive had written. "We will return." Gasps filled the chamber. The Kareth envoy trembled. "Fabrications. You forged these." Dr. Amir shook his head. The samples had been dated. Older than any of our recorded civilizations. Older than the first pyramids. Older than your dominion itself. The envoy tried to speak again, but its words faltered. The evidence was undeniable, and as if to drive the truth deeper, the stars outside blazed once more, replaying the same image. The human fleet that had once crossed the galaxy, their ships burning bright. On the Dauntless, Captain Aaron Cross watched the transmission. His crew leaned forward, stunned. Torres whispered, "All this time, we thought our history began on Earth, but it didn't. Earth was only home again." Sarah shivered. "Captain, if this is true, then every empire we see out there, we might have seen them before. We might have fought them before." Aaron's face was grim. "Not might, we did." The Dominion fleet tried to recover its dignity. Their commanders barked orders, trying to hold control. One of them spoke across the void, its voice shaking. "Even if this is true, you are weak. Now, whatever you once were, you are nothing now. You cannot stand against us." But their words rang hollow across the galaxy. Hidden listeners recorded everything. On distant worlds, alien leaders read the reports in fear. If humanity was not new, then the Dominion's entire claim to first contact was shattered. Worse if humans had once ruled the stars. Then their return meant the balance of power had already changed. In the council chamber, President Ward delivered the final blow. "You call us primitive. You call us latecomers. But it is not we who arrived late. It is you." The envoy's glow flickered weakly, fury breaking through its fear. "We will not bow to ghosts." At that moment, the stars shifted again. This time, they showed not fleets, not ruins, but a single image that froze everyone. A human figure standing tall, holding a torch of light, with alien empires bowing before it. The Dominion's voice cracked into silence. "On the Dauntless, Sarah whispered, the galaxy is watching. They all see it. They know now." Aaron folded his arms. His voice was calm, steady. "Then let them remember. We were never theirs to discover. We were only forgotten." His crew sat in silence, hearts pounding. The Dominion had mocked humanity, but now their arrogance was cracking apart like broken glass. And still, the stars glowed brighter, as if the universe itself refused to let the truth fade. For the first time, the galaxy understood. Humanity had not just been born into the stars. They had returned. Collapse of the lie, the Dominion fleet no longer moved like a perfect machine. Where once their ships had flown in flawless formation, now they drifted apart. Some held their weapons ready, others hesitated, and a few turned away entirely. The pride of the Kareth Empire was cracking, and every race watching could see it. The envoy's voice returned across human channels, but the power was gone from it. "Do not listen. Do not believe. The humans are tricksters, their history a lie. We are the first, we are the first." But the words sounded hollow, even to the Dominion's own soldiers. On Earth, the United Nations chamber filled with quiet murmurs. Leaders exchanged tense glances as new reports flooded in. Hidden colonies across the stars, once loyal to the Dominion, were sending messages. "They are questioning the Empire," whispered one aide. "Worlds that once swore loyalty are asking if the Dominion lied about other things too." President Ward listened without expression. "It begins," she said softly. In orbit, Captain Aaron Cross and the crew of the Dauntless watched chaos ripple through the alien fleet. Sarah leaned close, her voice low. "They're falling apart, Captain. Their soldiers don't know what to believe." Aaron nodded slowly. "That's because belief was always their weapon. And we just broke it." Torres chuckled grimly. "All it took was the truth." The Dominion tried to strike back with fear. A massive flagship lit its cannons, charging power enough to burn continents. Across the galaxy, alien observers held their breath, waiting for Earth to be punished for daring to humiliate an empire. But the strike never came. At the last second, another Dominion ship fired, not at Earth, but at the flagship. Its beam tore across the vessel's hull, splitting it open. Explosions rippled across the mighty warship as it fell silent, drifting into the void. Gasps erupted across every channel. The Dominion was firing on itself. The envoy screamed in rage, its composure fully shattered. "Traitors! You dare betray the Dominion? You believe these humans over your own masters?" A new voice answered, trembling but defiant. It came from the commander of the ship that had fired. "We swore to serve the first among the stars. But the stars themselves deny you. The humans were here before you. We will not fight lies any longer." Across the fleet, more ships pulled away, their weapons dimming. Entire squadrons defected in silence, no longer willing to fight for an empire exposed as a fraud. The lie was collapsing. The stars blazed again, sealing the Dominion's downfall. This time they showed not only Earth's name, but the faces of humans, long forgotten ancient figures with eyes of fire, standing on worlds now claimed by other empires. Some were warriors, some builders, some explorers. All carried the same truth. Humanity had touched the stars before anyone else. The alien envoy fell silent, its body flickering like a dying flame. It had no answer, no excuse, and the galaxy knew. It on distant worlds. Alien leaders panicked in the courts of the Veyari. Priests tore down banners, crying that their prophecies had been false. In the halls of the Drask warlords, generals shouted that their fleets were worthless if humans had once commanded greater power. Even the hidden empires that thrived in shadow began whispering, "If humanity is returning, what happens to us?" Fear spread faster than any fleet. On the Dauntless, Sarah turned to Aaron, her voice heavy with awe. "Captain, we didn't fire a single shot, but the Dominion is breaking. Whole empires are shaking, all because the truth came back." Aaron's gaze was steady. Truth is the sharpest weapon, and sometimes the quietest. Torres grinned, though his eyes carried unease. "But, Captain, if the galaxy is this afraid of us already, what happens when they find out how much more we've forgotten?" Aaron didn't answer. His silence was enough. The Dominion envoy made one last attempt to reclaim control. "You think this makes you strong, humans? You are still fragile. Your fleets are small. You cannot face the galaxy." But its words were drowned out. The stars flared once more, a final judgment written across the heavens. They will rise again. The envoy vanished, its image dissolving into static. And in that silence, the galaxy trembled. Asterisk, the true power of Earth. The Dominion's fleet was breaking apart, its proud banners dimming in shame. Ships defected, commanders argued, and the envoy's voice had fallen into silence. Across the galaxy, every hidden observer, every cloaked ship, every listening world had heard the same truth. Humanity had been here before, but the galaxy wanted more than whispers. It wanted proof. On the deck of the Dauntless, Captain Aaron Cross stood firm. His crew worked quietly, their consoles glowing as reports came in from all corners of the world. Sarah leaned forward, her voice low. "Captain, every empire is watching. They've seen the stars speak. They've seen the Dominion collapse. But they still wonder if we're bluffing." Torres chuckled darkly. "Then maybe we should stop whispering and show them a reason to be afraid." Aaron's eyes stayed on the screen, watching the remnants of the Dominion fleet hover in chaos. "No reason to shout," he said calmly. "A whisper will do." The order was simple. Activate the array. Deep within the Dauntless, a hidden system came to life. It wasn't flashy. No glowing wings of energy, no roaring storm of power. Just a faint hum, quiet and precise, as if the ship was merely adjusting its course. Across the fleet, Dominion commanders laughed bitterly when they saw nothing happen. "This is their great power?" "A hum," one sneered. But then, one of their cruisers flickered. Its shields collapsed. Its weapons went dark. The ship drifted, lifeless, without a single shot fired against it. Gasps filled the channels. Another cruiser fell silent. Then another. Each one touched by the invisible reach of the DAUNTLESS. No explosions. No spectacle. Just silence, as ships, built to fight wars across galaxies, were reduced to floating husks, powerless against a single human vessel. On Earth, billions watched the broadcast in stunned awe. Farmers, soldiers, scientists all saw it. Humanity had not just returned to the stars. Humanity had returned with precision. The Dominion envoy reappeared, its voice trembling now. "What? What are you doing? What weapon is this?" Aaron stepped closer to the screen, his voice steady, almost bored. "Not a weapon," he said. "Just a tool. One we built while you were busy decorating your ships with lights." The envoy's glow dimmed, its arrogance shattered. You cut through our systems as if they were nothing." Aaron tilted his head. "Because they are nothing." The crew of the Dauntless remained calm, almost casual, as more alien ships went dark. Torres leaned back in his chair, smirking. "You know, Captain, if we keep this up, there won't be much left of their fleet." Aaron shook his head. "We don't need to destroy them. Let the galaxy see that we could and chose not to." That was humanity's reply. Not conquest. Not destruction. Choice. Far away, on hidden worlds, the message spread like fire. The Veari priests whispered that the humans were protected by the stars themselves. The Drask warlords clenched their fists, realizing brute force meant nothing. Against such precision, entire councils of alien empires met in secret, fear twisting their voices. If humans had this power now, what had they held before? And what else had they forgotten? On the Dominion flagship, chaos reigned. Some begged to surrender. Others tried to rally, shouting that humanity was bluffing. But each time a ship fell silent, their lies grew thinner. Finally, the envoy spoke again, but this time its voice was small. "You? You could end us. Why don't you?" Aaron's eyes narrowed. His reply was sharp as steel. "Because we don't need to. Power isn't about what you destroy. It's about what you choose to leave standing." The envoy fell silent. It had no answer. The Dauntless powered down the array. The silence that followed was heavier than thunder. Sarah exhaled slowly. "Captain, the whole galaxy just saw that. They'll never forget it." Aaron nodded once. "Good. Let them remember." Above Earth, the stars shifted one last time. This time, there were no fleets, no battles, no hands of fire. Only a single word blazed across the sky. Return. The message was not for the Dominion. It was for humanity itself. On every alien world, whispers spread through streets and palaces alike. The humans had answered, and they were only just beginning. Asterisk, walking into the future, the Dominion fleet floated in silence. Dozens of their ships were dark husks now, stripped of power by the quiet reach of the Dauntless. Others had fled into the void, running from a truth they could not fight. The once mighty empire that had declared itself first among the stars now looked like scattered wreckage, its pride broken before billions of eyes. But the humans did not cheer. They did not sing of victory. They simply stood steady, calm as stone, while the galaxy trembled. On the deck of the Dauntless, Captain Aaron Cross turned from the fading alien fleet. His crew waited for orders, their faces a mix of awe and quiet. Fear at what they had just done. Sarah broke the silence first. "Captain, the galaxy will expect us to finish this, to crush them completely." Torres leaned forward, a sharp grin on his face. "Yeah, one command from you, and we could erase a Dominion tonight." But Aaron shook his head. His voice was calm, almost gentle. "No, let them live." Sarah frowned. "Why?" Aaron's gaze hardened. "Because fear spreads faster than fire. If we walk away, unimpressed, they'll fear us more than if we crush them." The envoy's image flickered once more, faint and desperate. Its once proud form was dim, its voice trembling. "Humans, what do you want from us? Tribute? Worship? Power?" Aaron stared at it for a long moment, then gave the most terrifying answer of all. "Nothing." The envoy blinked. "A nothing? Then why humiliate us? Why show this power?" Aaron's lips curved in the faintest smile. "Because you needed to be reminded. The stars remember who we are. And now, so will you?" The envoy had no reply. Its image faded, leaving only silence. On Earth, billions of people watched the broadcast. In streets, in homes, in bunkers, they saw the Dominion fall without a war. They saw their own kind stand against an empire and walk away untouched. In the United Nations chamber, President Ward's voice carried across the room, calm and sharp. "We did not ask for this fight. We did not seek to rule. But the galaxy now knows we are not new. We are not small. We are not afraid." Her words echoed across every human colony, every outpost, every ship. And beyond, they spread into alien networks, carried by whispers, magnified by fear. In the halls of the Vayari priests, bells rang and old prophecies were rewritten. In the camps of the Drask warlords, generals sat in silence, realizing brute force was useless. In the chambers of hidden empires, rulers whispered the same question. If this was only humanity's beginning, what happens when they remember everything they have forgotten? The Dauntless prepared its jump. Systems hummed, coordinates locked. The crew sat quietly, knowing history was already written. Sarah looked out at the stars, her voice soft. "Captain, do you think we'll ever know the full truth? What we were before?" Aaron's reply was steady. "We don't need to remember everything. The galaxy already remembers for us." Torres laughed lightly. "So what do we tell command when we get home? That we scared an empire by doing almost nothing?" Aaron finally smiled. "We tell them the truth. We weren't impressed." The jump drive engaged. The Dauntless vanished into the void, leaving the Dominion fleet broken and silent. Above Earth, the constellations flared one last time, blazing brighter than ever. No words this time, only a single image. A human figure walking forward, torch in hand, the stars parting before it. A promise. A warning. A return. And across the galaxy, every world whispered the same fear. The humans had come back, and they had only just begun.